Hello, one and all. My name is Liza Roach, and I am a mother of two amazing boys, a talk show and host director, as well as a makeup artist and a stylist. So, before I get into what I'd like to share with you as a part of my journey in this life, is just to say a big thank you to Valerie and the Kaifi Outreach community for asking of me to do this video. I should have done it earlier on in the year, but you know what? Nothing beats time, and I think that this right now, me being in this space at this time, is the right time to get it done. I want to share a little with you about my journey to self-awareness, from where I came and how I am leaving and plan to leave. And when we get to a place in our life, we have to understand that life is a journey. It's not a destination. The only time it becomes a destination really is when we're dead, and that's the end of it. That's our final destination. But we continue to evolve, or we should. I use the word should because not many of us evolve. Many people don't. We don't evolve from our mistakes, from our past, from even just our childhood. We are still stuck in a gear, and we tend to try to lay blames and point fingers at others. For me, life, I would say, has been bittersweet in many ways. I grew up as a middle class child living in a home where I had my two parents present. Though they were not the best examples of what a happy marriage would have been like, they did set a foundation for family life. And that, to me, I have grown to appreciate and value, especially for the fact that I'm also a mother. Those were those were values that I initially would have wanted to have laid out as a foundation for my children, where we have both parents present and we're around for them. But unfortunately, what has happened is that I made decisions, made bad choices from a place where I was not well thinking. My thought process was obscure, jumbled, scattered all over the place. And this came from a place where I too, I would call myself a scatterbrain. I'm a creative, so therefore it is easy to be scattered and disorganized. And that whatever is reflected in your brain, it also comes out in your mannerism, whether you're at work, at home, whatever it is. And I never knew or never quite understood how to apply a sense of organization. Yes, we've been given a Bluetooth, but I just could not do it. I didn't know how to, and I think my problem was consistency. The long and short of it, though, is that you know, being a mother, actually bringing new life into this earth and into this world, it's a huge responsibility. It's such an amazing thing to be able to bring life, and this is why we need to understand as women how amazing we are and how how forceful our powers are. But we also need to learn how to manage it and use it wisely. Many times we unfortunately choose partners that are not the best for us. We've seen the red flags, we smell the smoke from afar, but we insist on going and getting closer and closer to it until the fire burns us, and then we blame the fire. But the truth is, we saw the smoke, we smelled the smoke, we walked in and we walked and we walked until we started getting burned. And we have to observe people and take them based on their characteristics and how they have been displaying themselves and how they display themselves and present themselves to us. Because people don't generally lie about who they are. If you're very aware and if you have the emotional intelligence and the spiritual discernment to understand people as they present themselves, then we would be a lot better. But as women, we try to change the world, we try to change men, we try to do everything in changing everybody else, but we've done very little work on ourselves. Therefore, we become invested and embedded in bitterness and anger. And so we create this cycle of unhealthy relationships, unhappy homes, broken homes. We create an energy of singleness, and there's nothing wrong with being single, but there is something wrong when we have a broken generation, broken homes, out of a place where we've made choices that were not the best for us, and neither was it for our children. My experience with my children's father is not anything that will even bring a smile to one's face. It was toxic, it was horrible, it was any and everything that you could think of that was bad. His issues with me, vice versa, my issues with him would never go away because, again, people trying to change people and the unwillingness to accept that one is of such character and either work with it and make it work or let go and move on. Those experiences that I had weakened me and made my whole outlook on life, on how to solve problems, even more difficult. I was always focused on the problem rather than trying to come up with solutions. I was always angry. I was always hurt. I was always miserable, and I was always in a rage. It wouldn't have taken anything to trigger me off into anger. And, thankfully for the friends that I have, the more evolved ones, who's looked at me in quiet time and said to me that you need not to give people your power, and your power is your temper. They will use it against you, and it can be used against you in the worst way. And I lived to witness and experience that, but not only that, it handicapped my ability to gain the wings I needed to gain and fly high with my children. But as the universe had it, probably it was not supposed to go that way. And maybe I was actually supposed to have these experiences to learn more about myself and who I am and where I'm supposed to be. I've had a series of unfortunate situations that would just constantly follow me no matter how I've tried to change, fix, or alter. And then I recognized that later down I was not fixing, neither was I altering, I was patching. And patchwork is putting on a band-aid and pretending as if it never happened or move on. But you really haven't moved on because you really have not fixed the root of the problem. And so, as a late bloomer, just in the whole genesis of life, coming into being and understanding myself, I've recognized that the most important thing to me right now is being a woman that my boys can see as someone that they can respect, honor, love, and cherish. It came to a point where I had to make the worst decision in my life. And when I said worst, it was the worst decision at that point because it was not of my belief that children, especially boys, should be living with their fathers. They should be with their moms. And so society caves you into pressure to make you believe that you've done the worst thing or you failed because you have allowed for this to happen. Not recognizing that there are times in life you have to make decisions, and it may not be the best decision in the interest of the public's eye, but it is the best interest for your future development. When we get to a place when we're okay with making the right decisions for ourselves, and not making decisions out of spite or ego or having to prove a point, then we are by far better off in the game and the journey ahead. 3 years ago, when I had to make that decision, I had to do it. I had no choice. I had nowhere to go. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know if I was going right or left, coming or going. I had no clue anymore. And this was, of course, because of me having suppressed anger, me having to deal with stress, you know, almost losing my life to pneumonia that came onto me due to stress, and my immune system broke down. I would drink bottles of wines every day. My diet was horrible. I was unfit mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. I was just at a low place. And this is where you have to give gratitude for family. Thank God I have a family home that I could run back to because of the hardships that now came on to me. And though I am still in that space where I'm at the family home, not mentally, it's taken some time to undo all of those years of build up, the residue of bitterness, hurt, brokenness, depletion. It has taken time, and I've had to do work, and I am still doing work. I am by far nowhere near perfect. But what I can tell you though is that there's nothing more gratifying to me than when you have absolutely made the efforts to compartmentalize your feelings. So, my experiences with my children's father will never overshadow or overlook the good that he continues to do and he has done for them. And he is a good provider. There are times I often do feel guilty that I'm not able to do everything or meet him 50-50 all the time, or most of the time, or maybe never. But it it says to me that you have time to grow, and there's gonna come a time where you now take them back because of once being a 24/7 mom and having to have the situation where you're dealing with a child who has sickle cell, and for the first 4 to 6 years of his life I was in the hospital almost every month, and it was pretty hard on me. Emotionally, I was drained. You're living on edge, not knowing if he's gonna make it today or if he's gonna make it tomorrow. It was a lot of touch and go feelings. You didn't know where your anchor was going to sail. But again, I've learned more and more to give thanks. I have found ways to release whatever it is that I had going on inside. Most importantly, happiness and peace of mind is the key to allowing yourself the opportunity of forgiveness. It's such a very important tool. You have to learn to forgive, because if you don't forgive, you hold on to things, and you have to also learn that you need to take responsibility for the role that you've played in allowing life to happen to you the way it did. Had we seen the fire, sorry, had we smelled the smoke, had we seen the smoke and not walked into the smoke only to end up in the fire, we would not have had these experiences to make us bitter and holding on to and creating division and tearing our men down, because men are very fragile and we need them. And we need them to be our counterbalance in life. There's a reason that you have male energy and female energy, and the male energy is always needed. It makes no sense that we water them down and we put them into a category that they're all dogs, because it takes two to tango, and we enable a lot of their behaviors. And a dysfunctional man comes from a dysfunctional mother, and a dysfunctional abusive mother. We take for granted that we have done a lot of damage to our boys, to our men. And so if we don't recognize how truly serious and how vital a role we play in the development of our boys' life, we are we're total into a wreckage. We're heading headways into a wreckage, because we have to instill values into our young men to let them see women as needed, as loved, as cherished and valued. They are members of the society that, if it were not for them, their existence would never be. Though science tries to change that nowadays. But right now, we need to be very vigilant on how we allow our boys to see us as women. We need to be respected, we need to be honored, we need to be loved, we need to be cherished, and we need to treat ourselves as such too. Because the only way we are going to collectively triumph over what is happening now, where our generation of men are lost, is if we take back the power into our hands. We're busy, we're so busy going after corporate America, chasing the bag, hustling, trying to make ends meet, playing the role of mommy and daddy, wearing the superwoman cape, trying to protect and save the world, when truthfully everything, the foundation, everything that should have been laid in the home is not there. So it doesn't carry the weight over into how our generation becomes more progressive, how they evolve and how they become better as a people and as a group to themselves and to their fellow man and fellow woman. We have missed the mark and we need to reclaim our power. We need to get back in control and in touch with our lives. And for me, self awareness is a very important aspect of our journey in this lifetime because when you are aware, when you understand your weaknesses, when you understand your shortfalls, there is no more power to you than knowing that and knowing and identifying and fixing the problem. And there we focus on the solution and solutions only. And so I say this to you to appeal to you as a woman today that though we carry the weight of the world, though we are ambitious and driven, let's not lose sight of who we are. Let's be more focused on putting ourselves first. And it's a selfish thing. It may sound selfish, but if you're not good, your children aren't good. And you always have to be good. There are going to be days that we're down and we're going to wonder why. And I'm not going to tell you that life is easy. And I'm not going to sit down here and tell you that, oh, it will come to you, everything will be okay. It will be okay, but it's going to take some amount of work and self work and mental exercise to cement and create a space in your mind where things are okay. With this, I just want to end it and say thank you all for listening. And I look forward to doing more of these minutes with you. Take it easy, stay loved, be blessed, have a fabulous day.